Yeah.
Okay, so all we have is we call our library items here, okay, to support our application. Okay, this is the main class itself. Okay, once it starts, we set up our frame, our text fields, our labels, our buttons, all the elements that we're going to use in the application itself. Okay, then this is the main function. This is the one that gets called by default once the class runs. Okay, its first thing that it tries here is this function, create and show. Okay, and if it doesn't, it falls back and it uses these other things. Okay, to see what happened. Okay, but the main one it wants to do is it wants to call this function, and that guy lives down here. Okay, if there was an error, it's going to throw one of these guys here. Otherwise, it's going to do this function. Okay, so if all is happy, it's going to call $dollar converter. $dollar converter function lives up here. $dollar converter sets up the frame and gives it a title. It creates a size, defines is it resizable. In this case, yes. If it was not, it would say false. What happens when we close? And just goes exit. Okay, closes the application. Okay, and then defines a panel and a grid layout of 3 and 2. Then we set up our Euro labels and the text. Okay, what's it called? And the text field and its value. Okay, it's going to maybe take 20 characters. Then change currency is a button, and the value inside the button is called change currency. So that's what we'll click on. Then we have a dollar label and a dollar text. Okay, these two are the same as those two. They're just one's the euro version, one's the dollar version. Okay, then this part here is important. It's the listener for the button. Okay, and the next part then is we create a new panel, and then we start pushing in all the stuff that we've created up here into the panel. So we add our label, we add our text, we add our dollar sign, we add the currency, then some kind of visual parameters here, and then here we set the default button. Okay, so the only button in this case is the change currency one, which was this guy up here. Okay, and then we start to join everything together. So our panel we push into our frame, we wrap it all up, and then we make it visible. Okay, and that's all that that function does. The next thing to happen is it just sits and waits for this listener. Okay, and the listener, once it's been invoked, we'll call this function down here. Okay, the top part, the if here, is if it's Euro text, and the first check that it does is to see if the text that's been put in is the same as the previous one, and if it's not the same. Okay, and if it's not, then it's going to go ahead and do its job. Okay, it converts it to a thing called a double, which is like an integer value. And then it does another check to see if the double contains .0. Okay, and if it does, it goes and does something else. It splits it. Not too sure exactly. Double two string dollar. Okay, I'm not too sure. And there's the value for the euro, 1.25. Okay, when it's done, it's going to spit out its values to this function, which is up above. We'll come to it in a second. And then, so it spits out a value for euro and spits out a value for dollar. The bottom half here, the else if, is the exact same as the top half. It's only a case of if the dollar text. So one's euro, one's dollar. Once it's done that, the place that it splits the values out to are these guys here. Set euro and set dollar. And that ends the function. It returns this to the current dollar. That's fundamentally, you know what's going on, and that ends the whole script. That's all it does. If I just right click on here and I go run as Java application, here we have it. So type in 1 and we go change currency 1.25, and the value we got for 1.25 is because it's set there, 1.25.